Okay, I think I'm good to go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another amazing Centonomy event. This evening will be so much fun. This evening we are speaking to the guys in the creative industry. So karibuni sana. So today, this evening, I have two amazing guests who I know you already know and love so much, but I'll just allow them to introduce themselves briefly just so that we can get off to a good start. My name is Rubin Jonjo. I head the entrepreneurship program at Centonomy, and I'm your host for this evening, or a moderator if you choose. Okay, so ladies first. I'll start with Wahu.
So this is Wahu. I'm very happy to be here. I think it's my second opportunity to speak at Centonomy Forum.
Yeah.
Wahu, I'm a mommy of two beautiful girls. How old am I? 13 and 6. Yeah. And I'm a wife of some guy who has no name. And I am a musician, a profession that I love so much with all my heart. And I am also in the hair and beauty industry. I'm an investor in that space. I've been a director of Afro Series Salon now for about 7 years. So that's me in a nutshell.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, Wahu. It's amazing to have you. Okay, Jay, this is your opportunity to tell us what happened with the makeup artist. Kindly introduce yourself.
Today is Madaraka Day, so I was still finalizing on my holiday. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And I'm an alumni of Centonomy, and I'm a video director, CEO at Keep Base Africa, and also producer and director of Churchill Show currently. And yeah, that's what and an entrepreneur in general.
Great. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, karibuni sana. Thank you so much for allowing us to share a few minutes of your time just to equip other creatives in the industry, to give them more t-shirt, especially in this season that's a bit, tough, and some guys are going through some really hard times. So I just have a few questions which we'll go through, and then we'll also allow the audience to share with us any questions they might have. And I'll start with this one. So I'll start with Wahu. What was the toughest thing your business has gone through since COVID-19 hit?
Wow, I think yeah, it's definitely been a difficult season for us, as it has been for everybody else. You can see if this is a global pandemic, and everybody across the globe is struggling because we were not prepared. Yeah, we didn't have we didn't know. We didn't have any prior. No one at least in this generation has lived in a pandemic before, right? So it definitely hit us off guard. I can say the beginning of the year, like many other companies, we had strategy meetings. It was going to be a great year. We had big plans. We were going to go bigger and badder, and we were all set to do all that. And then by approaching the end of Q1, where we're just about to take off, what happens? COVID lands in Kenya. And I guess we just did not imagine that this thing could hit home. We usually hear of things those sides, problems there, and now it was here with us. And it was difficult because all of a sudden, all the wonderful plans that we had in place were not applicable, right? People were cutting back on their spending. So I remember, like, at the salon, for the first time in 7 years, that Monday we recorded 0 sales. For the first time in 7
years.
And we were like, wow, this is crazy. This is a lot worse than we imagined. And obviously even for our music plans, which we had taken so much time to think through, we'd gone on a retreat, a 1-week retreat with our team, and we thought about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, what our gaps are, and all that. And all of a sudden, all that does not apply because we have this major thing called COVID that we are facing. So it hit us. A lot of partnerships that we had in place for music for that part of my life, for branding and, you know, those sort of partnerships. A lot of budgets were being cut. People were holding back and saying, we need to think about this. And it was understandable because it was new for everybody. So yeah, our income flow was affected. Bottom line, income flow, this we've never been hit as hard as we were at this time. So I think that's what I can say in a very short summary about how this thing fast hit us. We're like, wow, it has cut us off literally at our feet. At that time, it felt that way because our income flow was not making sense, and we needed to think fast on our feet.
Okay. And maybe Jay, you can share with us what was the toughest thing, you know, that your business went through.
First of all, there are two businesses that I do: the headphones one, which is a Pace, and also Churchill. I'll start with Pace. Number one, we were confused, just like Wahu has said. We didn't know what next, and every company were trying to cut off budget and lay off people. But as for me, I have about 14 guys that work with me at Pace, and I told myself that let me give it a risk and do differently from anyone else. So let me try not to cut off anyone around us, but cut the budget that we normally use in terms of marketing and all that. Let me just retain my people. And also we had some new products that were coming from China, which we had to stop them from coming in. But now we didn't lay off anyone in our company. And surprisingly,
wow,
I think it was the best decision that I ever made in a company.
Wow, thank God for that.
Yes, everyone realized that they need an headphone or even earphone to use in their Zoom meeting.
Wow.
And yes, it's really worked for Pace. I think we've apart from holidays, Decembers and all that, we've made a huge let's say not profit but sales. In terms of sale, it's been quite good for us. So that is in terms of Pace. And Churchill, it was very confusing once the country went into curfew and lockdown, that no event is supposed to happen. We had an event in South Sea, and immediately that day we had to stop the event from happening, and it was really bad for all of us, because in Churchill Show we have more than 100 and something crew member that makes things work. And also the TV station were like, since we don't know what's happening, we are going to start repeating the shows. We are not going to show any new show. But I remember, so I remember telling Churchill, this is a good opportunity for us to try something with you alone, of which it happened. And from 100 and something crew member, we had to cut down to 4 people only. So let's say 3, him being the host of the show, and 3 of us. One of us is the accountant, and the other person helps me in producing the show. And surprisingly, also after doing 4 shows for NTV, I remember actually we said we are going to deliver the show free of charge. After doing 4 shows, it ended up like the best show ever for them. They've never seen something, because the results were amazing, and we were able to get a new contract from them.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Some guys are trying to call me.
Oh, Pole. Okay.
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So in Churchill Show, everything is working quite well right now, and just the decision making at the beginning was the main thing, because we didn't know. We've never seen this in our generation or even any other generation country going down on lockdown, so we didn't know what to expect. But just sitting down and understanding that what you started, there's so many risks. Business is all about risking. So how do you manage or even maneuver during this hard time? Yeah, generally it has been actually for me, I feel like it's a blessing.
Okay, so it's actually interesting because I was going to ask what are the opportunities, but you've mentioned. So Wahu, when somewhere in the conversation when you were talking through the tough time, you said at first, it really hit you. But what happened now after you settled in and just took some time out to kind of see what's going on? So maybe you can speak into, have you been able to then get any opportunities? Jay has said for him it's a blessing because he's gotten a couple of opportunities, big things that he even probably didn't think he would do in this season. So for you, have you had any opportunities that you've encountered after just letting it sink in?
So yes, absolutely. I mean, I think your attitude towards how you approach something determines your altitude and how you're gonna sail through. And I can say it took me the first time, those first couple of months, days rather, in March, I had sleepless nights. I was a bit confused. I was disoriented. I have 20 plus employees at the salon. I have a team that works with me in my music, and I'm like, I'm not sure myself of the way forward. I was not ready for this. 3 days I did not sleep.
It's a tough one. Yeah,
I was a bit confused about what to do, but you realize I'm in the middle of the sea and I can't think. Thinking is not an option for me.
Exactly.
Thinking is not an option for me, and too many people depend on these different things that I'm doing. So we are not gonna think. Let's start there. Let's just agree thinking is out of the door. So what are we gonna do? And that's the point where we started having meetings and discussing how do we now adopt, right, to the current situation. We have COVID. These are the issues. These are the gaps. This is what the law has said. There's a gazette notice that ABCD cannot happen. So what can we then do from there? And once we thought through that critically, let me say, like for the salon, one of the things that we did is we realized this place, there's an opportunity for us to continue doing business as normal, but redefining normal for ourselves. So we had to put in place, considering COVID is here, our staff is on the line, their health is on the line, and our client staff is on the line. So we had to do a lot of quick thinking, and we put in place a 9-step measure. 9-step measure, from temperature taking, gloves, sterilizing, sanitizing, a whole thing about how we are going to engage. And we realized at that point what everybody's concern prior to looking good is their health. True. Are you guys taking that? Is the most important thing at the front. So we changed our messaging. We're like, listen, because we thought about it at first. We thought, should we close? Should we not close? We went through that whole process, and I do have a co-director, and we had to think through what are the things, what happens if we stop, if we close, A, B, C, D, we can't afford to close. Our team depend on this. We have single mothers, we have single income families there, and they depend on this. Ourselves also depend on it, and we're like, we don't want to stop, but we don't want to risk anybody's health because we want to continue. But so it is possible to coexist and push. So we said, these are our 9 steps, including strictly coming on appointment. We are only going to do 5 clients at a time. And we realized that has actually normalized. It's actually like this last month was actually, in fact, now we are saying, okay, yeah, we can coexist and actually thrive. Not just coexist, we can actually thrive because we've taken our learnings and seen, and we're having constant discussions with the management and figuring that out. So we've also realized that even in adopting, there's a lot of, because everybody was online, there's a lot of opportunities we were not taking advantage of before. A lot of material and channels and ways to market yourselves and let yourself know that exist online and are not expensive, you know. So we started going online and started realizing, hey, how do I optimize my visibility as a company? How do I do this? We talked with Google, talked with different things. Instagram had fantastic material to look at, and we're like, hey, we're not even gonna leave anything out of the equation, and we pushed that. And we are able, I'm happy to say that because we did that, because we started from a place of we're not gonna sink. So what does that mean? It has really helped us to push forward. And actually now we are thinking there's a lot more we can do, even you know, moving forward. For the music, I can say that it was such an important, and one of the things that I'm learning to do as myself, I've been in the music industry now for almost 20 years, right?
Wow.
And yeah, it doesn't even feel like work because I enjoy it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The bad thing is that sometimes you don't push yourself so much, you know, because uione kama ni kazi. But the good thing is that I enjoy it, and I am honored to be in a place where I am paid to do something that I love to do, you know. So that I don't take that for granted at all. But one of the things that I realized in my past, because I took time to really think about my career trajectory so far, and I want to say that now I've gone into a lot of rethinking a lot of my old strategies and relearning and rebranding. And I realized that one of the things that we would do before, and I think it's almost human instinct to react instead of respond. You say, hey, kina nani wanafanya hivi, si hata sisi tufanye. Hey, you're not even thinking why they're doing. Wait, ni sawa na nani, wacha wafanye. Mimi wacha nifikirie kwanza what I'm gonna do, have a proper strategy in place. And I'm really enjoying, and we've had an opportunity to discuss with Blessing as well, in terms of the things that we're doing moving forward, in terms of our strategy. And I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited about where we are going with this, the next steps after this. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Wahu. Thanks for sharing that. So, okay, Blessing, I know you spoke about the opportunities. Let me just read here. Abdi says, COVID-19 has turned my businesses and plans to their heads, and I fear it's not going away anytime soon. So the earlier we learn to adapt, the better. Yeah, so that resonates with what Wahu said as well. Okay, so as you have said, so I think, Blessing, you said, you know, you haven't let go of your staff, and even Wahu, okay, although you didn't speak about it, but I think you had said it in the previous platform. Yeah. But I have this question. Is there anything you have had to let go of?
Maybe yes. At first, I had to let go of my driver. Any luxury, anything that I felt like it's too much for me, because savings at this point, do not at any point try to use your savings at all. Do not use it at this moment. So I try to cut off any luxury on my side, anything that I felt like I can do to make sure I actually, I cut off something that it's not necessary. Sio lazima. I think that's what I had to do. And then also, last year, and all of the time that I've been out of the country, I've realized, like for United States, they've tried to adopt things into online. Either way, every single business, be it musicians or there's IP and all that. So online is the next big thing. So right now we are just teaching ourselves how to be 100% on it. The biggest company in the world, that's Amazon. It only does online. So everyone wants to see how can they be able to either listen to your music online or see your content on TikTok or even Instagram Live. So everything is online. I've seen during this time a lot of companies have launched things online. So how do we, as creative guys in the industry, to make sure that how do we occupy the online space? At least if it's not 50%, maybe 70%. It should be like that. By the time you're appearing to any event, as Wahu the musician, guys are watu wanafaa kwa ile queue, like they've not seen you in person, but now wow, here you are. And once you appear to search, it has to be like the biggest event of all time. Yeah,
wow.
Sio ati
Not small time.
you are here. Yes, you are available.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing. You go to other countries, you find like the other celebrities are so big there simply because they are never available. So the only place you can access them, maybe it's on their online platform and all that. But now for us, we've not adopted the how do I put? Yes, we are available. Like ukiona mtu nasema huyo ni neighbor wangu. Huyo tunakunywaga naye chai. Yeah, so also as creative, we need to take more time in creating and then now less time on being available at every time. So once we do an appearance somewhere, everyone wants to come and see you because they've not experienced you yet in life. Yes.
Okay.
So
all
that's
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so for everyone who's joining us in Facebook, please feel free to put up your comment on the chat box there, and we'll be reading any of your questions or anything you want to say to Wahu or Jibril, or even you want to ask. Please feel free to go ahead and do that. So Jay, as you are saying about going into the online space and, IP and everything, we realized that our DJs had started doing a lot of, mixing online, and then all of a sudden, whoop, they were slapped with a few shocking statements here and there. So I don't know
that's
if
true. Wahu, is that true?
No
way, it can't be true.
Like, yes.
No way, it can't be true. No, I saw it. I couldn't imagine it can be true.
I don't think they were stopped. There was just a bit of contention around what is copyright infringement, what is legal, what is not legal. And it's good that it came up because now when you move forward, you need to move forward with knowledge. You're not infringing on anybody else's rights. But they weren't stopped. Yeah, they were
okay. So will they be liable to pay the amount that was stated? Do you have any idea?
And I think the discussion is still out there. It's still a discussion and a deliberation, and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna come to a amicable conclusion.
Okay. So Wahu, in terms of music, the way Jay was speaking about it, have you thought about going into the online space? And if so, I mean, I know if you're launching something amazing, you don't have to tell us the details, but maybe you can just help us to kind of see, for somebody who's maybe a young artist and they're trying to think through the online space, do you have something, maybe a few tips that you can just share with them that they can begin to think about or research?
I think this has been such an exciting time for me, especially because I'm exploring more the online space. I've never really taken advantage of the opportunities there. And even as you look at, let me just take that example now again of DJs. There's a major disruption, and I'm like, everybody who is in this space needs to get on board or you will be kicked out. When you see DJs going on their live, when you see even musicians going on their live with product placements, with companies behind them as an individual, not a media house, but behind this one person's media, YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, there's a disruption. Number one, so everybody needs to align and be aware. Number two, you need to take advantage, jump on now. So for me, what I'll tell you is I've been learning. I thank God that I've been able to take advantage here and there of the platforms that I have, but I'm still learning. I'm learning, and I feel like learning is both upwards and downwards. So I'm learning a lot from younger artists actually and younger people about the digital space, because sisi tukianza mziki hata video hatukuwa tunatoa video, tunatoa ngoma yangu. Mmewahi kuona video ya Sitishiki mahali? Tunatoa audio.
Yeah.
Audio.
And the way it was a powerful song, dancing to it, and we have no video. We are good.
Audio unapeleka kiss 100 Karobutuko, I beg you play my song.
Yes.
So YouTube comes and we have to learn. Then Twitter, then Instagram, and we sort of always have to learn. And the newer artists who are now more netizens than us know how to engage more. And don't ever think, and maybe this is my message to younger artists, there's a lot more that you know that maybe you don't know that you know, because it's just really at your finger. You just need to have the confidence to use the platforms. I only joined TikTok, I think 3 weeks ago.
And you're killing it. You're killing it.
I remember we used to see Jay on TikTok and we would wonder what it was.
What is it? Now they're on TikTok and you're like, wow, it's becoming a phenomenal and especially now because everybody is online. There's more eyeballs on the different platforms, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram. So for the young artists, I'd say you're lucky. You're lucky because you don't need one gatekeeper, right? In our day, we had gatekeepers. We had people who needed to like you.
Yes.
Okay.
They don't like you.
Too bad.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But now media is decentralized. It's up to you now, Janja Wako. And we have seen that happen. The gatekeeper concept has completely been demystified. So don't feel like you need a collaboration or whatever to go up. I normally see a lot of artists coming to say, please, number collabo, number. I'm like, no, now Janja Wako, you can do it. Just grow your platforms, grow your audience.
It's okay, Wahu.
Grow and glow your audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grow and glow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Understand that. For me as an learning, I'm also learning, and I'm never on a high horse to say I know it all. I don't know it all. There's a lot of cross-generational learning that's going on. I do have stuff that I can offer in terms of learning curves to shorten, because there are places I've failed, and there are places I've succeeded, and I'm happy to share my learning with younger artists so that you can reduce your learning curve. You don't have to go through all the mistakes that I made, but I'm happy to share. Doesn't mean it's right. You can at least pick that up and decide for yourself what you're gonna do. But I also have a lot to learn from younger people and people in the digital space. Blessing will tell you how many times I call him, I ask him, what do I do here? And it's very important to know to not ever get what is the word? Is the word have the mentality of Nimefika, where I can't ask for help or advice or guidance. There's never such a thing. There's never such a thing. So keep asking for a guidance and accept it with humility and make a decision. Doesn't mean that the guidance you're given you have to take, but at least consider it, right? Understand that you do not necessarily need that collaboration. You have platforms at your hands. You just need to get onto your YouTube, grow your Instagram, grow your TikTok, grow the channels where people can come to you and you give them your whatever, and also just listen to other people. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Wahu and Jay. We're feeling so much insights. I think when people come into conversations about adapting, sometimes there are guys who've really been hit by COVID and they're feeling like it's just under the blanket, under another one, water on this side. But from this conversation that we're having here, there are so many opportunities. It's a time to sit, to reflect, to internalize, to push forward. So they shouldn't be feeling like you're just pushed to a corner. This is the time to actually begin to take action. It might be slow, but keep going. Okay, so the other question I would have is, I know that in the creative industry, there's it's not everybody, but there are a couple of people who feel like because it's a passion, it's something you love doing, you don't really need to take it as a business. So I'd want to know from your end, because I mean, Wahu, and you mentioned it's something that you love, but how are you able to ensure that you're putting it out there as a business, so that as much as you love it and it's a passion and you enjoy doing it, and you know it brings joy to your heart, you're also able to generate revenue from it and run it in a professional way? So we can start with, I think we can start with Wahu, then we'll go to Jay.
All right. Yeah. So definitely, I think that's one of the challenges that we face as creatives. How do I take my art and make it into a business? And it's two ways. It's for the creative and also the consumers. Sometimes the consumers don't look at it as a business. Kama nikitu fun. It looks like fun, so it's easy for somebody when you're out somewhere, then someone says, "Hey, so you go sing for us," or "So you go do," it just looks like it's just, there's no real like you're not. It's hard for consumers to attach a monetary value to whatever to your trade, but also, and that's okay. That's really okay. For me, what's more important is for the artist to attach a monetary value to their trade and to look at it as a business. One of the places where we fail is to have a plan. Yeah, have a plan. Unfortunately, you'll find somebody will wake up. Now, I'm not saying everybody, but it's more often than not, people will wake up and say, "I have a song," or "This year I want to release 3 songs," or I want to release a song next month. So you just wake up and do the song, and then you wake up and do another without really thinking. And then by the time you've done the 3rd song and maybe it's not blowing up the way you expected it, you give up. You say, "This thing is not going to work. So I need to just, maybe this thing doesn't work, or people don't like my music." And I normally tell guys who are stepping in, Rome was not built in one day. Yeah. It takes time, it takes sweat, it takes consistency, it takes you fail, you understand, you take your lessons. Why did that fail? Why did that not work? I always give this example for myself. I said the first song that I ever wrote, I think only 3 people know it. It was called Esha. Because it failed terribly. It failed terribly. And the only person who played it was my friend, and he played it by his boss. Ian Goman is here, Tena. It was a major fail, and it was a fail because it was a fail. But I had put my heart, my creativity, I had brought my A game, I had brought it. And I was like, "This is it, please. This is the one." Yeah.
Everything.
It failed, and I was sad. But the thing that I can say I did, and I normally tell guys, is take your lesson, ask yourself why. Don't catch a feeling and say, "This industry does not favor upcoming artists," or does not whatever. Ask yourself, why did it fail? And not just yourself. Ask people who understand music. Ask DJs. If you have a DJ friend, if you have a friend who has even if it's just a friend who is genuine enough to give you an honest opinion, not someone just ask them why, so that you take the lessons and make it better the next time. And that's part of a growth process. And also giving yourself enough time to grow. Right? Give yourself enough time to grow. So planning yourself, giving yourself enough time to grow, and just keeping on hanging in there.
Okay. And taking feedback. Yeah.
Taking feedback. Yeah.
Okay, Jay, maybe you can share what your opinion is.
Okay. And number one, passion and business are very 2 different things. And a lot of young people intend to confuse these 2. Like your dad tells you, go be a lawyer or even start something, and you're passionate about music. They are very different things. I will say this. When you're in Campo, for example, there's this hot boy who everyone seems to be in love with during that time. And then you guys leave Campo and you meet one day unajiuliza, okay, why is it that everyone had a crush on this guy? You understand? Being passionate about something, apparently it happened like that. And for young people, every single time I get to tell people, be careful in putting all your heart and everything in things that you are passionate about, because it comes in a change. Mtu atakwambia leo I'm passionate about music because his surrounding, everyone is doing music. For example, he's inspired by Nameless, and he loves certain things about Nameless. Then he gets to be anakuwa passionate about what Nameless does entirely. But now when you're getting into business, do not get in na hiyo mentality I'm passionate about it, because business ni tofauti, ni profit and losses. It does not count emotions. It does not count heartbreaks. It does not count fails, you know. Yeah. In biashara umefail. Una understand? In relationship una fail, mtu ulikuwa unapenda upendi, tunakukonsult na maisha inaendelea after that. But business very, very different, and also involve watu wengi. It's not about you. It's about everyone around you, or even everyone that you've taken them with you. So you rather start, when you want to have a business, start something that you've, I normally tell people that, what are you solving at a particular point? Then once you get into that, you see, then you'll fall in love with it. It's just like women. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Wahu, help me, eh? Women fall in love. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I understand women fall in love. But men, we don't fall in love actually at first sight, tunasema tunapendana, but women anaweza kuwa kupendi but ana like vibe yako mbili tatu, and then with time they fall in love pole pole, right? But men wako haraka sana, wanakwambia I'm in love. Yeah, so what I would say is fall in love with your business and then get passionate after. Kwanza, it's a business structure you've planned, and then now fall in love with it pole pole. Get passionate about it, like you're pushing yourself to go in the morning, but don't have passion and then now you take it to music, to business.
To business.
That's what I would, yes, yeah. Have first the business structure and everything, and then now fall in love with it pole pole. Yeah, because trust me, if ukiona watu wengi sana watakwambia me I'm passionate about music, they do not care if they get paid or not. And so many people in the creative industry are being used just because they are passionate about. My inbox are full of young people who are so passionate about music or even creative. So if I am to take advantage of these people, trust me, I will take advantage of them 100%, because they don't know. They're just in love. They're just passionate about that. Yeah. So be careful on that. And if only I can recall what my parents used to tell me. I'm telling them, me, I'm passionate about this thing. And then they're like, go to this, because they saw what is needed for me. Yeah. Passionate is you fade out. And the bad thing is, for example, you want to be an artist so bad, and you realize uko na sauti mbaya kaa yangu. With time. Yeah.
So
with time.
Because you've said with time, did you initially think ulikuwa na sauti poa? Umesema with time.
Hey,
So I'm
hey.
I'll send you the link.
Thank you, Wahu. So thank you, Wahu. I'll be waiting. What?
Actually, she was the first person to play my song at K24 that time.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Wahu, for playing his song.
You remember? I had CDs in my hand.
Nitakuwa nikingoja tu your link. Niko ready.
Yeah,
I'm so ready.
If right now you play for me those songs, I will ask myself, passion,
Ilikuwa gani?
Lemonade. That is passion changing into lemonade. Yeah, and that's happened. Yeah. Especially in music. You see, music is something that is consumed by every human being. If you are not a consumer, then you are wanaitwaje watu wanaimba? If you're not the consumer, yes, you are the artist. So everyone has a touch in music. So it's very confusing. Kuna watu unasikia wanakuambia, hey, bro, mimi na maline noma sana, acha nikurushie yo, like they are so passionate about this thing, but they don't understand we have an attachment to music, all of us. Hata nyanya wako tu pahali kuna kikanda fulani alikuwa anapenda. So let's be careful when we get into something just because we are passionate about it that moment. I've seen so many artists that we started with, so many people, once they get breakthrough in something else, wanatupanishanga hiyo music mbadi sana.
So inakwanga tu hapo kwa stop gap as they do whatever, as they chase something else. So the minute ingine inaingiana, unaachana nayo.
Yes, exactly. And you realize by the time you're passionate about something, your first boyfriend or even your first girlfriend, you wanted to tell everyone about them.
Yes. That's true.
And then years later you realize, no, I don't know why I was into that. So I feel like passion inakwanga kwa hiyo ni, let's just be careful. And then business needs a lot of soberness. You understand? You're going into, you know that you need to get profit and losses, and also you have to sacrifice, and you have to be better, and who are your competitors. As Wahu said earlier, planning. This is one thing that hauwezi amka ujipate unaweza ifanya tu. You need to have a proper plan into it. So to my creative guys in the industry, let's try as much as possible to understand, are we doing this for passion or even for business? Ukiniambia for passion, it's okay. I know so many people actually who make big records under passion. I don't know if you guys know Craig David. Craig David is one of the biggest stars in the world, but he never did music for business. He did music for passion. Because he had other career that he was focusing.
That he was doing.
Yes, but
so it wasn't money making for him or business. It was just for fun, to feel good, to allow people to hear his awesomeness.
Exactly. So also kuna watu unaweza ifanya kama passion, no, usituambie umechange kwa gospel artist juu lipwi.
Hey, next time let's go to discuss your point. There's a lot of drama in the industry about that.
Sasa wafai kulipa watu. Wewe umejitolea kuwa gospel artist, enda uimbe bure.
Ni wewe umemake decision, wewe mwenyewe.
Wewe ndio umemake, it's not business.
I'm just going to laugh.
Usitutole stress ya gospel.
All right. Okay. So guys, I know, time is really gone. So as we come to our conclusion, I know that both of you are alumni of the Centonomy Entrepreneur program. And I'd just like you to just give me a highlight. What are maybe like 2 things that stood out for you, being a creative and being an entrepreneur in that space? What are just 2 things really quick that stood out for you, even as we get closer to winding up because of time? So Wahu, we can start with you.
So maybe just to even echo what Blessing was saying, for this to make business sense, you have to look at it as a business. I normally would say, tell guys, imagine wewe ni kama brand gani.
Sorry, Wahu. Yeah? Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm saying, imagine yourself as a brand. For example, Pace headphones.
Yes.
Detach yourself from the emotion, like Blessing is saying. Imagine yourself as a brand. That brand would have a brand manager, ideally, right? That brand manager is tasked with coming up with short, mid, and long-term plans, right?
Yes.
To grow the brand. That's the task of the brand manager. Yeah. The manager's work is to ensure continuous growth. And also that includes feedback, understanding what is wrong, what is right, what is working. We can change, we can innovate depending on how the market is reacting, right? Not to get emotional when people don't like the brands. Yeah.
True.
So you have to look at yourself like that, like a brand. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, we don't have enough managers who are qualified. So you as an artist or as a creative have to understand what the role of a brand manager is, because you are going to have to manage your own brand, right? Look at it and remove the emotion from it and think, How do I take feedback? What is our immediate plan, our long-term and our whatever? And you can ask for support and ask people how to grow your business in that way. Understand what are the market rates for A, B, C, D, what are my rights? What are my rights? What is copyright? What CMOs am I supposed to register? How do I make money from online and all those things? Understand that is the work of the manager and the management team. If you don't have a management team, which most people don't have, it is okay. Don't get your buddy and then the role of the buddy is to carry your jacket during a gig and then you say he's your manager. No, seriously understand what look at yourself as a brand and imagine and try and get the understanding of how to grow that brand. And that's why for me, I think a course like Centonomy was so important. It's so important for you to look at it, because I'll say that Centonomy was a fantastic opportunity for me to interact with other entrepreneurs, right? And to interact, and number one, and for all of us to look at it, to look and consider it, this is not just a mimi msanii, yeah, this is business. And what I liked is and here's another thing that many of us creatives do, is we create content for ourselves. Imenibamba, mina I feel, I like this jam, yeah. But are you making it for yourself?
No.
You're not making, you're making for public. So who matters? It's your consumer, right?
Exactly.
So that's one of the classes that really stood out for me, for both my music and even my salon, because I'm so guilty, especially for the salon, for creating a space. What would a woman like me like?
Me want. Yeah.
How would I like to feel? And then I imagine everybody would want. Then the class was really teaching us design thinking, where you get to understand what is in your potential consumer's mind. How do I make a product that fits them so that they can buy it? So that I don't struggle and say, why are you not liking what I like? You know, that should not be where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place where does this meet your needs? Does it fit your needs? So the design thinking class for me was like completely up to today. I use it anytime and anywhere I can. I absolutely loved it. I think the other lesson, was it a lesson or it was embedded in a lesson, was if you remove, and I use it even with my kids. I was actually telling my firstborn today, if fear was not on your radar, that was, I forget the title of that class.
It was actually fear and vision.
And vision, right? Oh my God, that class was really good, because you realize how much you limit yourself because you're afraid of failing. You're like, hey, what if it doesn't work? And limit what the potential is, you know. So there's lots of things that I feel are so important for creatives to understand, even the back end. Accounting, how to balance your books, how to support that, because you know, a lot of artists just, you get money and the minute it's in, it's out, and then
it's out.
You know, so I think that's one of the things that is important for creatives to wrap their minds around. How do I keep my books? What are my tax obligations and etc. All that, which are also available on Centonomy.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Wahu. So Jay, can tell us what stood out for you.
Thank you very much. First of all, Centonomy, thank you very, very much for these classes. And because most creatives, creative, it's based on their talents. So in Africa or even Kenya, hatuna shule inaweza kufundisha how to manage your own talent and all that, But Centonomy gives you that opportunity to know things about your account, spending, and putting your brand outside there, to know how important your brand, you can represent your brand, or even whatever that you have in the creative industry. So I had so much that I learned. nikiingia Centonomy, I was an emotional CEO. That's what I normally say. I was like, everyone around me alikuwa family member ama mtu nimekutana naye huko. So I think my second week in Centonomy, I had to do a cleanup. Like I fired anyone that was connected with me, not because of professionalism, but because of emotion that I felt like watakuwa poa, watajengeka. It helped me so much on that. And also still right now, I don't make decisions in terms of emotional at all. I make decisions based on business. How does this benefit us? Because if you make it in emotional, you might only benefit one person, or even yourself, just to beat up yourself and say, I did good. But if you make it a decision that is based on business, it helps everyone. When the company grows, it's not only for one person, but a lot of people. So I've learned those things, and it's a place. Sijui kama kuna masters ya Centonomy mnataka tukuje.
Iko kwa wax, usijali show. Iko kwa wax.
So tutakuja tu because it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing for us. Kwanza kwa watu kama sisi hatukuwa tunapenda shule. Hizo classes zimekuwa poa sana kwetu.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Wahu and Jay. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Just as we leave, I don't have any questions from Facebook. So what I'll do is just ask you to just, in one line real quick, just tell that young person who's a creative and they're just somewhere in between and they're not sure they're not sure how to approach or what to do. Just give them one line of encouragement or just something that you think that is critical for them to pick up and start doing now.
Okay, I think for me, first of all, thanks so much for this opportunity. Always enjoy engaging and interacting, and I've also learned a lot. It's so important to always plug into places where you can learn. I'd like to tell guys out there, whatever your passion is or whatever it is that you feel drawn to, listen more to your gut. Whenever I give talks, I say I started in my singing in my early 20s, and I doubted myself a lot. There were very many external voices that were saying not necessarily encouraging things, and usually the discouragement is not necessarily because they don't want you to succeed. It's because you're going into unknown territory. So they are worried, they're concerned, they're saying maybe no, maybe you shouldn't, and it's external voices that sometimes feed into your inside. And I normally say, if I could go back to my early 20s, I would just do me and do me with a lot more intention. I thank God that I still did me, but I was very doubtful and because there were many negative voices, and sometimes some that are quite close to you. So I would say, don't disrespect those who are concerned. Let me use the word concerned about your career trajectory, especially those who are close to you, like your parents, your elder siblings. Don't disrespect them. They're coming from a place of love. Understand them. They're coming from a place of love and concern. Also listen to your gut. Trust your gut, trust your gut. And if it's something you desire to pursue it unrelentlessly. Pursue it and also get mentorship. Learn from people. You can reduce so many failures if you just go and sit under a mentor. And so many people are willing out there to just support. Very many people. And it's free school, guys. It's free school. Learning under a mentor is learning. It's like free. You're not paying for this. You get, So don't be too high horsed to seek guidance or seek mentorship, but also follow your gut and follow unrelentlessly.
Okay, thank you so much, Wahu, and it's always a pleasure to have you in our sessions. Thank you so much. Okay, Jay.
For me, there's always a way out in everything. This generation yetu wayang tuko na haraka sana, speed ya kila kitu. So we end up even not listening to ourselves because we are trying to do everything at a time. So I feel like just relax, and just know whatever that it is, there's a way out. And that way out in your benefit. So just sit down and figure it out. It doesn't matter how long it will take. It doesn't matter what you have to do, but there's always a way out.